How long has this lavender farm been here? When was it sort of first established?
So the lavender field behind us was planted in 2004, and it's been there ever since. The second field over there, I believe, was 2006 or 7. Originally, where we're sat now was one big lavender garden, and that was the starting point. It was just going to be a lavender garden, and Dad was going to keep the cows and do that alongside it.
Is it sort of something you thought you'd always do, or did you kind of fall into it?
Well, I always knew I wanted to follow in Dad's footsteps, whatever they may be, you know, from a young age, from a toddler. You know, it's just part of the life of a family farm, you know, being a 5th generation, you've got to carry it on. Being lavender is something that I really sort of enjoyed and hopefully run with.
Well, it's a versatile crop, isn't it, as well? Talk us through kind of like the season from start to finish of your typical year.
Well, with lavender, if you're thinking just lavender, we get 3 different harvests from it. So at first, when it first comes into flower, we cut it by hand for bunches to dry. Then once it's almost ready for harvesting for the oil, we harvest it and dry it, like knock the seed heads, the flower heads off of the stems, so that we can make things like the shortbread and put in all of our sown products as well. And then comes the real challenge of harvesting it and distilling it for the essential oil, which we can then make soaps and candles and things like that with.
So it's a full-on year then. And once it's over in late summer, then it's kind of almost raising it back down to the ground.
So we just cut it and leave it as a dome, and then we've got the task of weeding up through the rows and making sure it's all fit and healthy. And then it's the mammoth task of doing things with the oil and preparing for, in our case, the Christmas markets that come after that.
Yeah, of course. It keeps you going all year round. You kind of think of it, don't you, as kind of like late spring into summer. It goes banana, it looks great, smells amazing, but actually there's a load more to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And when it comes to the ideal weather, for this crop in particular, is there such thing?
Obviously sunshine, warm sunshine. It depends really, because once it's in flower it needs sunshine, but up until the point of flowering it does still like it quite damp, so it needs the rain in order to get the long stems that people want when they have a bunch of lavender. But also for us as well, there's still oil in the stem, so if you've got a short stem you will have slightly less amount of oil. And yeah, I mean, like working down in between the rows to get the weeds out, if it's super dry in the spring, can't really do that. If it's sodden wet, you can't do that either.
Yeah.
The biggest fear for lavender is once it's in flower, when you get heavy rain, it'll knock the flowers off and it'll sort of flatten the crop, and then it's almost no good.
And then in terms of people coming to visit, how does that side of it work? Because you've got your farm shop, plant sales, there's a lot more going on.
In our little farm shop that was originally built by my dad, we've only got, 10 covers in there, which is also rubbish when it's a wet weather, nowhere for people to sit and enjoy the cakes and stuff. So yeah, during COVID we thought, right, something's got to be done, and we bit the bullet and invested into building this massive new farm shop, which we're hoping we can open for longer throughout the year and have a much wider variety of products, not only lavender and sort of farm shoppy things, so fresh bread, some meats and milk and all that for the local people to come and purchase on a regular basis.
We're in the middle of another heat wave so far this year of 30-odd degree temperatures, and that might become a normal for every summer. How do you see things panning out?
I mean, for lavender it's probably great. For me, having to work in it, not so much. It's the weather extremes, if you've got super wet weather in the winter or even in the summer, it's, when you get a wet summer, it's awful. Lavender doesn't like it, and of course we don't have the tourism, the people to come and look at it, which, heavily impacts us, because that's what we rely on mainly is the tourism, the people coming to enjoy the lavender.
And it's all donations, isn't it, as well, right?
Yeah.
Is there a particular variety which is going to be better in a few decades in terms of its resilience, do you think?
I mean, the Grosso, which is what's grown in the second field there, is probably better suited to hotter weather, I would guess. But at the end of the day, they all, lavender in general thrives in it.
Have you got a time when you can just take stock a little bit? And if so, what's your favourite part of the whole plot?
I do like it later in the summer when all the flowers have sort of really come into their own, and just a sea of colour. It's sort of, you can look back at your year's worth of work from when you're sowing the seeds in January, and potting them on through February and April, March, and all that. And seeing all that work throughout the whole year coming into a final end product like a bunch of flowers that somebody can buy and enjoy in their home, makes it all worthwhile then.